All right, here we go. This might be a little bit fun on this one. We're going to respond to a comment, and let's get right into it. Hope everyone is doing good. We're going to take a comment from a recent commenter and see what they have to say. Here we go. And, you know, we're going to answer these comments on air because just don't have the time to do it on a one-on-one basis, because then you get another one and they expect the same treatment, and then you get 30 or 40 of them, and no, that's not how it works. So we're going to address, for the benefit of all, we're going to address what the comments pertain to, because they do have some significance just by face value of what they say. That's why we're going to be doing the commenting on them. Let's go to the first one that was quite notable, and see what it has to say. Community, there we go. Hold on 1 second. Okay, this is from wait a second, Riaan, Hey, Den, something. And I can tell right off the bat, I don't know if your name has a pronunciation to it or not. And that is actually significant for what we're going to bring out and bring up right now. That's the problem with a lot of these people. And I hope this person isn't like that. I hope they're asking a plausibly honest question. I doubt it. It seems like a, trick, I got you kind of question, but we'll see. We'll just play around with it. Plus, we'll see how they respond to it and whatnot. Then how is it that Yeshua, this is based on the current video that was done from yesterday, how then is it that Yeshua said to the woman, I did not come for you, I came only for the lost tribes of Yisrael. Now that says a boatload right there, Yisrael and Yeshua. Have no problems with the other definitions of the Lord's name. Technically have no problems. Some of you know, I'll have to do a video on it as well. I've been to literal hell, to the definitive literal hell. I've been there. And I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, without any equivocation, without any hesitancy, without any ambiguation, whatever, that when I yelled, it was a gift. I'm not going to go into the details. When I yelled out, Jesus, those things, those grotesque, hideous things in hell, hate that name. It was like, hell is like a vortex, a vacuum, what's another word for it? Vortex, vacuum, or there's another V name, I forget offhand what the name of it is, but those things in hell, it was like all the air was being sucked out of the room. They hate that name. So the point being is this: the Lord knows who's calling on him. And I came to, this is when I was a stud back in the Marine Corps, and I came to in a puddle of sweat, and my heart was beating like if you've heard the story before, I don't know if I have it on this present platform, but my heart was beating like a hummingbird on steroids, fluttering its wings. It was, for 5-10 minutes, my heartbeat did not, it was like one single heartbeat, and it didn't come down until about 10 minutes later. The Lord knows who's calling on him. That's the final point. The Lord knows. So, right from, let's observe a couple of things here. This person, I don't know if you're a female or a male, I'm not sure, it doesn't really say. No, not definitively anyway for me. Then how is it, and the question is based off the last video, which is about 9-10 minutes long, how is it that Yeshua said to the woman, I did not come for you, I came only for the lost tribes of Israel? Well, I just lost, okay, H-E-Y-D something. Let me tell you, I can tell from your verbiage that right off the bat, right from the get-go, you are either a 7-year pre-trib dispensational person, I'll be nice, with a secondary in Hebrew rootsism, otherwise known as Hebrew rooters for short, and or you've definitely got some sacred nameism going on. In other words, you could be a sacred namer. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Now, I will tell you, this is right before Y2K, a quarter of a century ago, so it's been a while. Right before the year 2000, I was in 1998. I'll give you a quick explanation. I got out of no, that was 97. In 98, I left the Roman Catholic Church. I went back to South Bend, Indiana. In April of 98, I left the Roman Catholic Church after 42 years. Okay? Oh yeah. You know your 99-point thesis and tack them on the door and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, I left the Roman Catholic Church. They never responded to me. Never responded. But anyway, neither here nor there. I was told to get out. Proceeded to bump around. Got plugged into, long story short, got plugged into the 7-year pre-trib dispensational rapture cultism. Okay, and yeah, it's a cult. There are no second comings. I don't care what or how you describe it. There are no second comings, two second comings to Jesus Christ. There's only one. Okay? No matter how you subdivide it by your church, which only you pertain to that exclusivity, you people don't understand it. You really don't. We're breaking hard now. Because in 2 Thessalonians, you're part of that great falling away. And you don't even understand it. You have a form of godliness, but you're denying the power thereof. And the power is those who worship God must do so in spirit and in truth. We say this all the time. We say this all the time. So if you want, and you're going to be either one of those three categories. So anyway, throwing around too many ideas at once. That's the way I think. I apologize. You're either going to be one of those three categories, R-I-A-A-N, and or, when I was back right before 2000, I was one of those 7-year pre-trib rapture, dispensational rapture people myself. Oh yeah, I can show you paperwork. I drew out, I typed it out on a Remington typewriter even, banging it out, one finger at a time sort of thing. I can show you the schematic for the 7 years. I wanted to compete up there with Perry Stone, but back when he had black hair. This is a long time ago. Long time ago. 25 years will make a difference. But anyway, neither here nor there. So either, here's the point on yourself, R-I-A-A-N, either you're going to be one of those dispensers, or you're going to be a Hebrews rooter, or you're going to either be staunchly involved, dyed in the wool, in other words, as a sacred namer. I'm not sure where you're coming from, you don't really say. But when you say, out of nowhere, I have no context to link this to what I was talking about yesterday. It was for about 9-10 minutes. I don't know what you are talking about. Okay? When you say, then how is it that Yeshua said to the woman, I did not come for you, I came only for the lost tribes of Yisrael. R-I-A-A-N, let me tell you something. I have literally, I'm not trying to, I hate putting this in the first person. I don't like putting it in the first person, but we have, I'll just talk for a few other ones as well that are in our small little camp. We have discussed this literally hundreds of times. You're talking about 422, the woman at the well sidecar. We all know that. We all know that. R-I-A-A-N. We all know that. Are you new? You haven't seen the other videos? And it was Jesus Christ that I name the Lord by, who fulfilled the gathering of those lost sheep of the 10 tribes, the 10 northern tribes of Israel. It was Jesus Christ. And at the Last Supper, he even said in the prayer, succinctly, that, Father, I have lost none except for the son of perdition. So it was Jesus Christ who gathered all of those lost sheep of the house of Israel up until that time. Because when Christ died at that cross, with the methodology / metaphorically applied example of his seamless robe, he made that physical and or spiritual perfect propitiation for our sins. Transition. And gathering and ingathering. That was translated, that was shipped over from the physicality of the old house to the new house, which is spiritual. The Lord says his kingdom is not of this world. So y'all want to stay in this paradigm. It's incredible. Go talk to John Hagee down there in San Antonio at the Cornerstone Church. Go talk to him. Oh, God isn't done with Israel yet. You know what this is all about? This unction just came to me right now. This is all about salvation by works. I was inquisitive as a kid, trying to put this in a nice format, describing myself. My mom, and a lot of people out there know, in the Roman Catholic families, it's usually, not usually, but many times, it's the woman who wears the theological pants in the family, okay? My mom was like that. She was a staunch Roman Catholic from the word go. I went to St. Jude's Roman Catholic grade school, and the school from my house was 15 feet away. All I had to do was walk across the street and I was there, on Hildebrand Street in South Bend, Indiana. It's still there. Neither here nor there, but just saying. So, the point being, I used to always ask all the time growing up. I was a teenager, I was a young kid. I says, well, it occurred to me way back then, why is it that the Roman Catholic Church, and we'll get to the salient point here in a second, why is it that the Roman Catholic Church has to do all these hoop jumping and all these qualification scenarios to prove or substantiate, I know I'm using a lot of big words, substantiate their wanting to be, it's called salvation by works. Okay, you have the sacraments, you have all of the other requirements, everything from the baptism of a child all the way up through the confirmation, going to the masses, the holy days, at all. Okay? At all. Amongst others. Oh man, did that was like throwing a flaming broom or a torch on some tinder wood soaked with gas. It did not go over good. It did not go over good. So when it comes, and that's why I was so inclined, after I was told to get out of the Roman Catholic Church, and I said, yes sir, I got out. 7-year pre-trib dispensational. I was all over that. Oh man, it was just like the cushion, the security cushion or insurance policy that the Roman Catholics have, as comparable to the dopamine feeling that, the constant prognostications and the constant, I think this is going to happen, I think that's going to happen, or Chelsea Baydell or Tim Henderson. Tim Henderson thinks that the Antichrist has already been proclaimed through the auspices of him as Donald Trump. And guess who? No surprise. He thinks that the false prophet is the current newly established Pope. So here I was. And then I was slowly disenfranchised. There was something not right, because I did the schematic. I did the schematic for the whole thing with a 7-year pre-trib dispensational rapture, 7 years. And I'll show it to you. I've got copies of it, still. When I typed it out on the Remington typewriter back in the day, I still got copies of it. I'll show it to you, with my name at the bottom of it. I could never get it to work with all the different Rubik's Cube scenarios working incessantly. It just never fit. All the time sequences, all of the nomenclatures and the dynamics of the time references and/or / events of Revelation. It never worked. Never worked. And I linked it up with Daniel and the whole 9 yards. Oh yeah. I was told to get out of that. I did another time. Yes, sir. I got out of that. Then I bumped over to the Hebrew Rootsism crowd. The Monty Judas and the Eddie Chimneys. Read all their books. Saw Monty Judah in person a few times. He would come to South Bend, Indiana, to Lester Summerall's church, Lycia Broadcasting, and do programs. The same with Irvin Baxter, which is another story. He was a Oneness Pentecostal. Oh yeah. I used to watch what Stan Johnson was doing way back before Y2K was doing the thing about the Prophecy Club. Saw all the speakers, all of them. Oh yeah, right there in South Bend, Indiana. Right off of Miami Road there in South Bend, because I lived in Irish Hills, and they had the studio out there in the cornfield, one of the cornfields, whatever. And yeah, I used to watch them all the time, in person. So I know all about that stuff, all about it. And Monty Judah, before Y2K, Monty Judah says, look, I am a certified grade A Fortune 500, 3-piece suit engineer, and I can tell you that the Hebrew gematria associated with Prince Charles of Wales is 666 in Hebrew and also in English. I still have his publications. He thought that it was going to be 7 years before Y2K. That's why 3.5 years before 2000, that was when the Antichrist, Prince Charles, Prince of Wales, was going to sign the peace accord that he rationalized was going to come out of Camp David with Bill Clinton, what was his name? Yitzhak Rabin, I think it was. Yeah, and somebody else, I forget offhand. It's been a while. But that never happened. Prince Charles never happened for the whole thing. We never got raptured. Okay? That was way back when. We're not against the rapture. We know when the Lord comes, right before Armageddon, which is 16:16 Rev. He comes 16:15. So we're not going to go. And Chelsea, we got another bone to pick with you, girl. When you start quoting 1 Thessalonians 4:15-17, there is no 7-year pre-existing clause or stipulation that says you get the church, whatever constitutes the church, which is really a 501c3, does not get raptured 7 years before. Just because of 1 Thessalonians 1 Thessalonians 4:15-17, that also coincides with 1 Corinthians 15:51-52. Because you never want to talk about that, because it says at the last trump. And it also says in Matthew 24 that it's at immediately after the tribulation of those days. When? Immediately after. What is it you people don't understand? But getting back to you, R-I-A-A-N, Riaan, that's all, pretty much I can read your name, decipher whatever. When you want to talk 422, that salvation is of the Jews. Haven't you watched any of the other fireforthesoul.com? Have you gone to bornagainisrael.com? They're all synonymous because they all point to the same website, 144,000.com. Amongst others, they all point to Born Again Israel. Haven't you watched any of the other videos? Because we talk about this stuff all the time. So, last comment here, we're going to sign off. Then how is it that Yeshua said to the woman, I did not come for you, I came only for the lost tribes of Israel? Again, R-I-A-A-N, or whatever your name is. I don't know if you're female or male or whatever. It's beside the point, because we talk about this all the time. Okay, so you've got some opportunities here. We give you the opportunity, watch the other videos and or peruse the website. Born Again, I'll include it in this video here. Go to that website. Please take the opportunity, because I don't know what you are asking. Then how is it that Yeshua said to the woman in chapter 4 of John? I don't know what that was. You're asking me a question that is totally taken out of context. Okay, so I wanted to bring all of this up because it helps edify the rest of the people out there. That's why R-I-A-A-N. That's all I know. Ain't much. But we do know when it comes to the 4th chapter, especially 22, that salvation is of the Jews. And that's what you need to understand. It's not going to be because of the 613 laws. And, this is going to... Just got this unction. This is all going to come down. It's not going to be pretty, and you're not going to like what happens. But it's all going to come down to what happens to that 6-pointed star. So if you're in Hebrew rootsism, if you're in sacred nameism, or any of those other isms, or 7-year pre-trib dispensational rapture cult-ism, then you're in the wrong place. R-I-A-A-N. Because that 6-pointed star is going to get judged. You've got the wrong Israel. It says in Revelation 2 places, it talks about the synagogue of Satan. So if you don't understand that, matter of fact, I'll ask you one question. We'll see if you get to the end of this video. R-I-A-A-N. We will see. I will see personally. I will ask you a question right now. R-I-A-A-N. I will ask you the question because I used to ask this question to the Roman Catholics all the time. All the time. I would say, are you Christian? Oh, that would set some people on fire. I am a Catholic. I'm sorry, but that's not the question I asked. Are you a Christian? What gives you the right? That's what they would say to me. So I'm going to ask you that same question. R-I-A-A-N. I'm going to ask you that same question. Are you, R-I-A-A-N, a Christian? It'll be interesting. Until then, if you're remnant, stay remnant. I'll get this word out there. The Lord's going to give you many, many opportunities just to share with people on your specific level. Please do so. Because when it comes to being a part of the chosen, blessed, and favored remnant of Israel, it's all spiritual. This is all in accordance with Romans 2:28-29, who is a real Jew. It gives out the stipulations. And it also says in Romans 9:6, it says not all Israel is Israel. And in Romans 9:8, it says, and these of the flesh, these are not N-O-T. These are not November Oscar Tango. These are not the children of God. But those, or these, of the promise of that one seed are counted for the promise, counted for the seed. It's all one and the same. The seed and the promise is what it means to be remnant. Either you got that seed or you don't. Either you're going to be going along with the 6-pointed star or you're not. And if you are a staunch Hebrew rooter, I don't care what race you are, there's many of them. They designate them by their race. They have Hispanic ones, they have black ones, they have white ones. If you are a Hebrew rooters, you have to go by those 613 laws. If you mess up in one of them, you're guilty of them all. Do you understand? And God knows who's calling on his name in a true sense of the word. That's all we got for now. If you're remnant, stay remnant. I love you guys. Talk soon.